a very important thing. We know the weight of those books and all the homework these kids are doing. We'll be back right after this quick commercial. Stay with us. If you have any kids out there, grandkids, or you know someone with kids, this is the show for you. And if you're just catching this show, you can see any of those rebroadcast times right here on WYLN. We're talking about kids and chiropractic today with Dr. Stacy Sando and our friend Christopher here. When we left, we wanted to talk a little bit about sleeping, the proper way for kids to sleep. We spend a lot of our lives doing just that. So what's the proper way to sleep?
The proper way to sleep for anyone is to sleep on your back. With one pillow underneath your neck. So it supports your neck and it supports that important curve that we just talked about.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of kids, they sleep on their stomach. And when you sleep on your stomach all night long, you have your head turned to one side. And even Christopher, I notice, sometimes does that. I always try and flip him. He gets mad at me.
Don't get mad at your mother.
I always do.
It's good for neck health, for his neck to stay healthy so he doesn't get headaches. And also for kids, so it keeps those eustachian tubes clear so they don't get those ear infections as often.
Okay. Do you like to play video games, Christopher?
Yep.
What's your favorite video game to play? Xbox or what?
Xbox.
Xbox, you like to do that stuff. Now let's talk about video games here. Kids spend a lot of time doing that. Is there a related problem they can have with their back because of that?
Yes, there is. And we see more of our male children in the office, more so than the girls. They come in with mid-back pain, right beneath their shoulder blades, where their wings are there. And I call it, well, when I used to go to the chiropractor, they called it the Nintendo back because Nintendo was big back then. But you know, they're sitting on the floor Indian style and they're all hunched over and they're playing the games. So for, you know, I don't know how many hours, you know, an hour or 2 hours or however long, they're like this. And then, you know, then a couple days later, they're wondering why their back is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, you know, you should sit in a chair, first of all, or, you know, sit with pillows behind you and lean back on the pillows instead of leaning forward, although your reaction time is much slower if you do that, right?
Just sit on the beanbags.
What was that?
I just want to sit on one of the beanbags.
Sit on the beanbag
Sit on
chair.
the beanbag chair. How's that?
You can do that as long as, again, some beanbag chairs don't fit them, so their heads are hanging off, or they're, you know, but if it fits, then that would be fine too.
Bottom line is sit up straight on a chair.
That's right.
That's the best thing to do. Trust me. Trust your mom. She knows
What about
best.
on the bed?
I don't know. Ask her. What about the bed?
You can sit on the bed, but you have to have the pillows supporting you as well. It's all about posture and support.
Do you want me to leave and you can ask the questions?
No.
Oh, okay. That's good. One more thing we wanted to talk about, which is very important, is backpacks. Kids coming home these days with a backpack full of books, and that could be a big stress on their back. So tell us some tips here for getting the backpack the way it should be.
I think a couple years ago there was a big movement on backpack safety, and they were bringing it to the schools. I haven't heard that much about it lately. And you know, just the other day we had a patient come in, and she walked in and she had shoulder pain, and I showed the mother. I said, look at how high that one shoulder is. I said, how do you wear your backpack? And she said, well, on this shoulder, and you know, the shoulder that was lower, she was wearing her backpack. And I said, oh, and I said, and how many books do you bring home? She goes, oh, a lot, they're so heavy. So we brought a backpack here today, and no books, so we used the phone book, but it'll still work.
That's okay.
So I'm going to load the backpack how you should load your child's backpack.
So what are the tips here?
So what you want to do is you want to put the biggest, heaviest book towards the back.
Okay.
Okay? If you think of it this way, if you have a heavy book and you're holding it way out in front of you, hold this way out in front of you.
Stand up and show us how you're doing this.
Hold it way out in front of you. Is that kind of heavy?
Yeah.
Does that get hard? Good. That should get hard. If you hold it really close to your body, is that easier?
Yep.
Okay. Same thing with a backpack, right? If we put the book, the heaviest book, closer to where the backpack goes, and then all the lighter books on top of that, then what will happen is most of the weight is going to be carried closer to the back or closer to the body. Then also, we're going to stand you back up. We're going to put this on your back, okay? Can you stand back
up there, buddy.
So you're going to slide this on your arms
Face
here.
towards me.
Okay, now turn to the side. So if you hang the backpack down where the straps are below the shoulders here, this part, it's going to be kind of heavy. Is that heavy?
Yep.
Okay. If we put it up higher and we hold it this way, it supports more on the shoulders. It doesn't pull him backwards. It holds him more forward. So if we could adjust the straps in the front, we'd adjust them higher so that the back of the backpack's even with the shoulders there. That's really important. Never wear it on one side, okay? You can
Never
take
wear it
off.
on one side. Always put it over both shoulders.
Yeah, if you do this, keep it on the one side. If you do this, you see how, face the TV there, it'll want to fall off his shoulders. So in order to keep it from falling off, he's going to lean his body that way. You see how he leans his body? Not that far.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so what will happen is then
Thanks,
through
buddy.
time, through the whole school year, he'll eventually develop a higher shoulder, and his back is going to go out of alignment to kind of compensate for that.
Yeah.
So then we get kids coming in with pain in their shoulder, pain on the one side of their neck because they're always leaning to the one side. So backpack safety is actually really important.
Is there, I know it's a tough situation because the kids got to take home books, but is there cases where they're lifting more weight than maybe they should? Do you find that a lot?
Definitely, and really it shouldn't be more than 30% the body weight. How do you figure that out? I'm not really that good at math, but you know, sometimes you can't, they send all the books home. I've had kids come in that have back issues with scoliosis that we've actually had them get an extra set of books for the school so they don't have to take them home, one for home, one for school. That's only if they have a real medical excuse like the scoliosis.
How about with the backpack and now you're getting on a bus or you're getting in the car? Should you be sitting there for long distances with the backpack on or should you take it off?
You definitely should take the backpack off. Can you imagine, we just talked about posture and the Nintendo back, so now not only without the weight, but now you have the backpack on and you're sitting, that would be even worse.
Yeah.
Because you're forwarding that posture forward. Not to mention uncomfortable sitting on your backpack, right?
You have a lot of books?
I really like to do.
Do you have a lot of books in your backpack?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's because you do all your work at school. You don't have all this homework. You're lucky.
He is lucky.
And your shoelace is untied.
No.
We're going to take a quick break anyway, because when we come back, we want to talk about scoliosis. If you don't know what scoliosis is, we'll explain, but I believe it's something they check in at school, right?
They do, they should.
They check at school, but we're going to talk about how a chiropractor can help someone with scoliosis. Any questions? DaganHartChiro@yahoo.com is our email address. We'll be back right after this quick commercial. Kids and chiropractic. It's our topic tonight on Let's Talk Chiropractic with Dr. Stacy Sando and our special guest, Christopher. We said we're going to talk about scoliosis here now in the last segment. Please define that for us, if you will. First of all, what is scoliosis?
Scoliosis is just stated as a curvature in the spine. Now, earlier we talked about curves and natural curves in the spine, which I'll show you here. From the side should be this way. You should see a backward C, then a forward C in here, okay? A scoliosis is when you look at someone from the back, okay? And you see their spine twist like an S or a C, okay?
Born that way?
No.
You're not?
No, you're not born that way. It's usually through a growth spurt that a scoliosis will begin. So that's why it's even that much more important that kids get checked, because what happens is when you go through a quick growth spurt, sometimes one muscle will grow faster than another muscle, and since they're on each side of our body, one side of our body grows a little quicker. The spine will then compensate for that growth. So if you can see a kid or a child during a growth spurt, you can actually minimize the effects of a scoliosis that might be developing.
We're going to show people how to check it. Is this something a parent should do or a chiropractor should do, buddy, if you don't mind getting
Definitely
up
a
here?
chiropractor should do it. You could stand up. Some parents, they can look at their kid's back and they can see just from this angle, they can see, oh, you know, he might have one shoulder that's a little higher, or if they're looking, stand straight, if they're looking at the hips, they might see that the pants always ride one way, like higher on the one side or lower on the other side. So that's something that they might notice.
Yeah.
But ultimately, a chiropractor is the only one that really checks for scoliosis.
Show us how you do so.
So we're going to lift up Christopher's shirt here. You're going to stand up straight. So first of all, just so I can see, you can see that his shoulder blade's right here, and his spine comes right down the center. Okay, these are the spinous processes of the back, and they should be nice and straight right down the center, even between the shoulder blades. And you can look here, he has a nice curve there. So if we don't see anything in this position, we have Christopher bend over, and we have him bend at your waist, honey. There you go. And so what you can see is right here, you look up the back, and we would be from behind here, coming up this way. Now, a lot of times you'll see like the body will be turned one way or the other. You'll see the spine turn slightly. But his spine is pretty much okay. Now, sometimes we'll see if he's standing up that the spine is straight or the spine is already curved. If we see that it's already curved and then he bends and it gets worse, we know he's actually going through a little bit of a growth spurt at this point because we're using muscles to increase the curve and that his curve could get worse. So that's even more important where you want to get into a chiropractor and start adjusting.
So you can, through adjusting, you can take a seat, buddy. Through adjustments, you can help prevent that curvature. Am I right?
A lot, yes. And if the curvature has already started, especially with a child that's under the age of like 8, 9, 10, we can actually get some correction with that scoliosis. So I've had women or men come into the office and they're in their 30s and they don't know that they have a scoliosis. At that age, it's already too late to correct or to get any correction in that curve because they're already done growing. But if someone comes in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, even 13, 14, they come into the office and they've been told that they have a curve or they just have pain and we find that they have a curve in their back, we can always start adjusting them and get some correction, if not all correction, in their spine.
We only have like 15 seconds left, but just to wrap it up, give some advice, some tips for parents out there to keep their child's back in good health.
You know, I think at home, you try to have your child not to sleep on their stomach. Ultimately, get their spines checked. Maybe they don't need to be adjusted. All children don't need to be adjusted, but importantly, at least if they're checked, you can prevent them from a lifetime of pain or any type of issues like scoliosis or those disc problems that we hear so often in our other shows.
So good spine health starts with a guy like this age.
That's right.
How about that? Thanks for being here, buddy. We appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here, too. We appreciate it. And thank you for watching Let's Talk Chiropractic right here on WYLN. We'll see you next time.